Hi, welcome to Golf FM. This is a test on the new Callaway Elyte and the Ping G440 iron. These have both just been launched. I've just got my hands on them. They both look really good and I just want to go through a little bit about them and put them to the test and see if there's any differences in feel and performance and feed that back to you. So the Callaway is the standard model. There are three heads. There's an HL, there's an XL and there's this. So it's a standard model and it's obviously the standard G440. I think you can adjust lofts on the 440 as well. They actually have a retro spec on this now, and that's going to help people who don't hit the ball hard enough and need a little bit more loft, a little bit more backspin. So standard model, both middle of the road, all things to everyone iron. So this fits just about everyone. Obviously your lower handicappers might want something a bit smaller and a bit harder to hit and a bit lower hitting and that sort of thing. But these are mass market, ultra forgiving, but now coming in packages which look much more attractive and interesting than they did a few years ago. Quite often this head would have been hollowed out like an old-fashioned style cavity back where all the weight's round the sides but there's a big hole in the middle, and it looked fine, but these irons look a bit more like you would describe a player's distance iron, like a P790 or something like that, where it's filled in at the back. So there's still all this forgiveness going on underneath and inside, but you can't see it now, and it, for me, to my eyes, this looks much more attractive and sleeker and nicer than it did before. These are about the same price. You're talking about £1,000 at the moment for a 7-iron set, so 7 irons, however you want to make that up. They're quite strong lofted. They're both 29 degrees. They have various technologies built into them. So you've got AI face with the Callaway. You've got, hang on a minute, a little bit of paper here. They've got an AI face, tri-sole design, which more bounce at the front edge to help it stop it digging in. Urethane microspheres in the back of it to help feel, and speed frame construction, which they've done all the time, just helps keep the speed in all over the face. Ping have got very similar things. Pure Flex badge, again, that's to help the feel. Low center of gravity, high moment of inertia, just resistance to twisting, high moment of inertia, thinner face than last time on the G430. And they've actually, one thing they've done a little bit different is the longer irons are now longer than they used to be, only by an 1/8 of an inch or something like that. They're saying that, well, they're so forgiving now, we can sneak a little bit more length onto the club, because anytime you make it longer, you make it less forgiving. But if the head's so ultra forgiving that you can just make it really long, then let's do that, because you get more swing speed if you do that, and ultimately more distance. Don't know if I'm a massive fan of that myself. Callaway have done it on all their irons in this sort of range. They did it last year, and the AI Smoke made them a tiny bit longer than standard just throughout the set, because again, they were claiming them were more forgiving. Personally, I think you're probably better off with standard length. In fact, anytime a club's slightly shorter, you generally hit the middle of the club more often. They're just saying you don't need to worry about that as much. Anyway, I'll hit them and see what I think. That's a little bit of a rundown on what they actually do and what they're meant to do and where they're positioned in the market and how much they are and that sort of thing. In terms of looks, the back of them, I don't think there's a lot in it. You could possibly argue that the Elyte, as it's pronounced, looks like Elyte, but it's to do with Eli Callaway being named after Eli Callaway. So I think there'll be a lot of people walking about calling it Elyte. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I would say maybe the Callaway's got the edge on the sort of beautifulness stakes. I don't know, but again, that's eye of the beholder. The Ping's slightly more form focused, a bit more no messing about, and the Callaway's got a little bit more in terms of jewellery on it. Maybe is the thing you would, maybe is the way you would describe it. But they both look really good from the back end there. Really good. And then on the ground, the Ping looks a little bit bigger, I would say. The head overall, it looks longer from heel to toe. And in terms of height of the club, and they're on the ground, what are they like? Well, the Callaway actually almost looks a little bit taller. So it's taller but not as long. And the top lines are fairly thin, not at all. You wouldn't describe them as thick top lines, they're quite thin, but still enough there maybe to look reassuring to people who want it to look reassuring. And there's minimal offset as well. I think there's a lot of players, that Ping even looks like it's got slightly less offset than the Callaway. I think there's a lot of players could use this. Like, I'm talking like lower handicaps than might normally go for a G440 iron. They might be looking at I530 or I230 or something. I think this might actually come into the thinking of a few more people like that because of the way it looks, because it, as I say, very little offset and quite a thin top line and not an overly big club head. Big enough to look like it's going to help you, but not overly big. And then the Callaway, as I say, being that slightly shorter heel to toe, looks again quite low handicap, player ironish. It does look very attractive as well. It's got a slightly more chromed out look. The soles are narrower than you get on some clubs. Certainly the Ping looks slightly wider than the Callaway. Sole width sometimes helps with not hitting the ball fat, so helping you to avoid digging the club into the ground the wider it is, but also the bounce angle helps a bit, and that's what Callaway have done on theirs. They've tried to manufacture a bit more help in terms of turf interaction and not digging into the ground. But they both look very forgiving, very sleek, very nice. And if this is the way the category is going of your bog standard, run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road game improvement club, well, that's a good sign because they really have upped their game in the last few years and it's going in the right direction. Right, so I think I will hit the Ping first and see how they measure up. Okay, so putting it down behind the ball, it's got a decent size to it, but it doesn't look badly big or anything. It looks absolutely fine. Nice thin top line, nice smooth sort of metal finish to it, satin sort of finish, and it just looks really good. There's hardly any offset on it, and offset is supposed to help you if you slice the ball. I don't think it does that much, to be honest, offset. So with this having minimal offset, I don't think it's going to matter at all. Sorry, I just had to delete that shot off before I realised I hadn't pressed the record button on the camera, which does help when you're doing YouTube videos. So offset, I should hit the ball too far left all the time with offset because my bad shots are hooked. So quite often when you put it down, if you don't like offset, it's a problem. I don't like offset, and this is not a problem in this club. I like it, and that's why I think quite a lot of better players, lower handicaps, are going to quite like this club. I think I hit it okay, nothing special. Feel-wise, noise-wise, felt okay. Didn't feel like a forged club, which is what I use at the moment. Yeah, 170 for 184. I think it's going to end up going a bit further than that when I really get it. Not bad start. Again, a decent strike, I think. And Skytrack chose not to measure that one. Decided to take that one out. Thanks very much, Skytrack. Just let me know when you're going to put them in or not. Felt alright, I think. A little bit left, but it was a reasonable strike. 183, 169 in the air. I still think it's got a bit more in it. So what these clubs will be good at is holding on to distance. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness doesn't suddenly make the ball go straight at the target, but it holds on to distance better. So if you mishit it, you'll still get pretty much the yardage you would have got if you hit a good strike. Felt quite a good strike. A little bit left, but so it'll probably go quite far. Slightly closes the face a little bit when you hit left. So there's a 189. 176 carry. Spin's not too bad for a club like this that's going that distance. For me, descent angle's okay. That was a nice strike. Quite a nice shot. Straight. And 177, 191 total. Yeah, good figures, pretty good figures. I'm swinging at about 85 miles an hour if you're interested. That is about average for my 7-iron swing. Possibly an acceptable strike. Wouldn't say it was flush mode central or anything. 175, 188, keep it in. That's a better strike. Nice shot. Thanks very much. 179, 193. Yeah, good. Like it. Feel-wise, nothing special, but nothing bad. So it doesn't feel like a forged club, but it's not trying to. It's got this Pure Flex thing in the back, which is trying to dampen the vibrations and give it slightly more of a soft feel. But it's in no way hard or clattery or horrible. It's a perfectly acceptable feel and noise. Decent strike, but maybe a bit right. Oh, it's not that bad. Let's see what the figures are. 185. Leaveitin.com. 171, 185. Yeah, okay, I think. 171, 185, same thing. Not absolutely hit top drawer, but not terrible. That was a decent strike, but I think it's a little bit right. Might keep it in if the stats are okay. Yeah, okay, 174, 186, got to keep it in really. I think that was okay. Yeah, 180, 194. Right, we'll leave it there. Yeah, it felt good. Perfectly easy to hit, felt very forgiving in terms of like, even when I wasn't hitting, it was still getting decent distance. Yeah, nice, impressed with it. Okay, so Callaway Elyte, down behind the ball, really nice, really nice. Not seeing the offset that I thought was worse than the Ping as much, and really almost looks like it could be a player's distance iron. It's got that kind of chrome with the satin middle finish, really looks high end, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's possibly got the edge and looks for me. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot. They're both nice, they're both nice enough. It's not like a deal breaker. It's got a slightly smaller head, that's probably why I like it more, possibly more compact, certainly heel to toe. Right, see how it goes. Oh, that felt nice. That was a good strike. Going a little bit left, but that felt really nice off his face. Really nice feel. If I'm going to hit more like that, then it's a nicer feel than the Ping. That's 172, 186. I almost might have gone further than that, to be honest. Yeah, nice feel again. Really, it's almost not far off feeling like a forged club, to be honest. 171, 186. Not quite gone as far. So I thought I really hit those well, and the Ping's gone further than that. Quite a good strike again. Didn't register. Thanks for nothing. TFN Skytrack, thanks for nothing. Ah, rubbish strike. Count that though. Go on, count it. Yes. Well done. Yeah, very funny. Very funny. Maybe not quite as clean a strike. Still felt nice. Yeah, well, I left a 183 in the other batch, so let's just leave a 183 in there. Oh, that felt so nice. That's no worse than any forged player's distance iron in terms of feel. 177 for 190. It's a thing of beauty, the feel of that. A good distance, but I still think possibly the Ping's got the edge on the overall distance stakes. Quite a good strike again. Really enjoying it in this thing. Yeah, 171, 185. Decent figures. You know, the difference is when it feels nice like this, I'm looking forward to hitting it. I'm looking forward to feeling that feeling again. That really nice strike. A massive clod of earth out, and it doesn't just as well it didn't register that. Just as well it didn't register that, because that was ugly. Right, okay. Nice strike again. What a lovely thing. Yeah, it's not, I mean, I hit it a little bit right, since the face was open, so it's gone not quite as far. 170, 183, but I've got to keep it in, I suppose. Oh, what a lovely strike. Don't even care where it's going, it's just a nice thing to hit. 174, 188. I'm getting to the right, but what a lovely way to hit it, miles right. What a lovely feeling as I've just hit that out of bounds right. 172, 186. Nah, straight, but I'll be very surprised if that's a counter. Okay, keep it in. Good forgiveness to be able to keep that in, I suppose. Lovely strike again. It's just a thing of beauty when you hit this out of the middle. Just a little bit hooky, but it's not that bad. 174, 189. That's a nice strike again. I think I've hit it a little bit right, but what a lovely way, as I say, to hit it a little bit right. 175, 188. Let's leave that. Right, I have a bit of a feeling I know the way this is going, but let's have a look at the stats in a bit more detail. Right, so G440, 119 ball speed and 118 on the Elyte. And club head speed was 83 on the Ping and 84 on the Callaway. So I think you can safely say, from my testing anyway, don't know what the robots would say, don't know what the £50 million robots would say, but 1 mile an hour slower swing speed, but 1 mile an hour faster ball speed, which means possibly that thin face on the Ping is giving the ball a little bit more speed off it, and potentially a bit more distance, because if you look along the line, 17 degrees launch on the Ping, 16 on the Callaway, wouldn't read too much into that, and the spin's almost identical, 5,100-ish. And the total distance 188 on the Ping and 186 on the Callaway. I'm surprised it's actually as close as that. It felt to me like the Ping was a bit more powerful even than that. And oh sorry, that's total distance 174 and 172. It's the same, 2 yards. You'd probably spotted that already. And descent angle's similar, not far off it. So yeah, it's close, but I think I know how to summarize this for once. So I think you can safely say that the Ping is a slightly stronger club, that will potentially go a little bit further and be as forgiving as the Callaway. I don't have the data to tell you 100% which one's more forgiving. I don't think there'll be a lot in it. My gut feeling would maybe be that the Ping was fractionally more forgiving. It just looks a little bit heftier and a bit bigger overall, which usually equates to being a little bit more forgiving in off-centre hits. But the Callaway, looks-wise, for me, is slightly nicer. Although there's not a lot in it, I think it's a really nice club, and I think the G440 is an improvement on the G430. But slightly better looks and definitely a better feel. Definitely a better feel. I don't know what they've done with these microphane Eurospheres, but it's like it's the world's softest material or something, because that almost pretty much feels like a forged club to me. And that's what I'm using at the moment, so I should know. So yes, 2 different clubs, similar price, with 2 different sort of properties. One is feel and looks, and the other one is more distance and forgiveness, you would say. But again, it's not a lot in it. You know, only 2 yards here and there. And as I say, forgiveness, difficult to quantify. So yeah, I do not think you would go wrong with either. If you can get a chance to try them both together, see what you think, see if you agree with me on the feel-wise for the Callaway. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.